And perhaps one of the most momentous trials in the United States of America, where the former U.S. President Donald Trump is charged with trying to overturn his 2020 election defeat in the state of Georgia, the former president has now pleaded not guilty.
Absolutely, Haim. Well, the drama doesn't seem to end over there. The plea means that the 77-year-old Trump, the front runner for the 2024 Republican nomination, will not appear in person in Fulton County Court in Atlanta next week to face the charges. The Fulton County District Attorney charged Trump with 13 felony counts, including racketeering for pressuring state officials to reverse his 2020 election loss and allegedly setting up a fake slate of electors to undermine the congressional certification of Democratic President Joe Biden's victory.
Now, the former U.S. president was not the only person charged in this case. Along with him, there were 18 others who were charged earlier this month as well, in a 41-count indictment that outlines an alleged scheme to subvert the will of Georgia voters, who had chosen Democrat Joe Biden over the Republican incumbent in the presidential election at the time.
Moreover, Trump had previously traveled to Georgia on the 24th of August, where he turned himself in at the Fulton County jail, becoming the first former president to have a mugshot taken.
Right. And the latest charges mark Trump's fourth indictment since launching his re-election campaign for president, which includes paying hush money to porn star Stormy Daniels, attempting to overturn the 2020 election, and unlawfully keeping classified documents.
All right, over to our correspondent Susan Tehrani. Well, we are going to be asking her some very pertinent questions in this particular case. Well, I want to know, in fact, whether cameras are allowed in the courtroom in Georgia, and what does this mean for Trump's case? Susan?
The Fulton County judge involved in Donald Trump's case said that any trial involving the former president or his 18 co-defendants will be televised. He made these comments on Thursday. And of course, any trial involving the former president will get international coverage. However, this is also in stark contrast with federal courtrooms here in the United States, where even on Monday, Mark Meadows, former White House chief of staff, was trying to get his trial transferred from Fulton County to a federal courtroom. During that hearing, journalists were not allowed phones, cameras, or even laptops in the courtroom. But it's also important to note that should Mark Meadows be successful in transferring his case, then others may follow suit, and ultimately this event that the judge in Fulton County mentioned about being televised and live streamed, well, it may not even happen.
Now, Susan also explains how in another case, New York Attorney General has accused Trump of inflating his net worth by $2 billion and how his lawyers argued against that. Listen in.
Donald Trump and others have denied it any wrongdoing. His lawyers argued that Trump Organization financial statements were not misleading, and also that the case should be dropped because no parties were harmed. They also argued that Trump and others at the Trump Organization did not have an intent to defraud. They said that at the bottom of every statement there were caveats that said basically the statements were unaudited. And then, according to a newly released deposition from the former president, he says that Trump Organization financial statements always had a clause in them warning lenders and others that they should not be relied upon, and that he himself had, quote, very little, if any, involvement in putting these statements together.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.